Man, I wish the Chameleon could transform into a movie that had the freaking Furious 5 in it. Kung Fu Panda has some legit insane villains. This is Villain Review, my bi-weekly series where I take a villain, talk about him, and give him a score 1 out of 10. Every Kung Fu Panda villain has gotten a good score. Is the Chameleon gonna change that? Let's find out.
I wanted respect and power. I wanted to be a master of Kung Fu.
Say what? Have you ever wanted to be a Kung Fu master but were rejected because you're a lizard? Anyways, that's what happened to the Chameleon. She loved Kung Fu but was rejected because of her size and perceived intelligence. They said, okay, lizard, you're just a dumb lizard. If that was you, what would you do? Let me ask you that question. Would you give up, not give up, or maybe become a shape-shifting sorceress? She picked option 3. Unfortunately, her chameleon powers are like the anchor arms from SpongeBob. A lot of looks, but with no actual practicality. So pretty much she can turn into a big Kung Fu monkey, but she can't actually do monkey Kung Fu. But listen to this, if she can steal the Staff of Wisdom from Po, she can open the spirit realm and lick all the villains or smack them with her tongue to learn all their secret jutsus. The Kung Fu Panda villains are kind of like when you handwrite an essay and the first letter is the most beautiful thing ever. It's gorgeous to a T. But then by the end, your handwriting is just gibberish. The thing that bugs me about this motive is the fact that it's not important at all. I feel like the character was written around the idea of bringing these villains back and that they worked backwards from there. The driving force of her character is bringing these villains back, where Tai Lung, Shen, and Kai all have that inciting action before the movie, and all their backgrounds are explored really well. With the Chameleon, it's like, I'm sorry, why do you want this staff again? Oh, just cause like I really like Kung Fu, and they said no. That's rejection, guys, get used to it.
At last, my destiny approaches.
The best thing about this character is the fact that she's played by Viola Davis, who's just an acting hack, dude, because she's always good. To be honest though, the character doesn't really have anything super interesting about her. And that's, again, because the motive's boring. The biggest thing I could tell you about her personality is that she's a jerk and pretty manipulative, but even then, she doesn't do either of these traits well enough to be memorable for them. Her only relationship in the movie is with Jen, who she adopted as a child, but it turns out that she only did it because she thought one day she'd be useful. I feel like this is another example of a character suffering because they don't commit to the, hey, should we feel bad for them side, or the, okay, she's just evil side. We're not gonna feel bad for her because we're missing a lot of context in her motive. And she does nothing but bad things in the movie without any form of regret. It would have been a better relationship if she took Jen in as maybe someone who also was rejected by Kung Fu, making a group of villains very similar to Po, but also who disagree with him. And that right there is the annoying part, the part there was actually potential. The idea that the Chameleon is this kind of alternate dark timeline Po is awesome. Someone who loved Kung Fu and dreamt to be a part of it, only for one of them to succeed in joining that world and the other to be turned away. It's such a cool idea that's tied to Po as a character and could have been connected to the first 3 films a lot better. Instead, it's like, yeah, that's crazy, huh? Anyways, outside of her performance, which is good, there's nothing about the Chameleon's personality that I think is going to be remembered, but that doesn't mean nothing will. The fact that the Chameleon is a chameleon is really cool. This idea of her being able to look like anyone and fight like them later is awesome. But let's be honest, they don't really use this ability to its highest potential. The fact we get to see her turn into Tai Lung and this giant dragon thing later on, that's sick. The fact she fights as the original villains for like 30 seconds, not so nice. Hey Chameleon, 2020 called it. Once it's quarantine back, why does every scene she have in the movie take place in this one room? Time to get out the house. There's life outside your apartment. Where my Avenue Q fans at? Her first scene with all the crime lords is solid. It does a good job of showing her ability, and I gotta admit, later on I kinda like the plot twist. It is a little obvious, at least to me, cause Jen goes, yeah, somebody in the city saved me, but I'm not gonna say who, wink wink, could be anybody. It's not even that related to the Chameleon, honestly, but I love that little 20-second Tai Lung fight scene we get. Why didn't we get more of this? The ending fight Dragon's cool. Some of the other transformations are cool. Why are Shen and Kai in this movie? What is the purpose outside of clickbait? She steals their souls and fights as them for like 5 seconds, and then that's it. It doesn't even feel like they're in this movie. It feels like when you play a video game, right, and they get the rights to the character, but they can't pay the actors, so they're just on mute. It feels like that. It is so disappointing. And while I like the final fight enough, it has some highlights, it does feel like it is a little lacking, and that kind of sucks because I just have this high expectation of this franchise, especially the final fights. And then Poe just like purposefully takes himself out so Jen can win. It's like when you lateral the ball on the 1 yard line to your worst player so they can feel better. Was this that easy for Poe to where it got to the point he's just like, Jen's got this, I'm done, I'll just let her do it. Kind of kills the tension once you look back at it, but you know, that's life.
That is awesome!
The worst part about the Chameleon as a villain is that she never really stood a chance because she was only ever a vessel to get the original villains back. But then once they're there, the movie doesn't use them. And as far as a character goes, she's passable at best, really saved only by, I'll admit, her cool powers and Viola Davis. Putting the sheer talent of Viola Davis in the Chameleon is like Naruto getting sealed with the Nine Tails. It's just like, well, what are we doing? You can even tell they got a little lazy, because why does she not have a name? They didn't call Shin, oh, the peacock, or Kai, oh, Poe, you gotta fight the bull. Here's some bull. This character might be nothing, but it might also be everything. I'm gonna give the Chameleon a 5.
And the day you stop being those things is the day when, yes, you stop being useful to me.
Thanks so much for watching. I make new villain reviews every other week. Hit the button. Here are all my other Kung Fu Panda ones. Don't watch my Tai Lung one though, it's really bad. It's like the first video I ever made on this channel. I really don't recommend it, and I can't guarantee the other ones are much better. But if you want a better one, watch my one from Dune. That one's pretty good. Subscribe to my second channel. I have other Kung Fu Panda villain video. Yes, please buy. 1,000 subscribers, yes.